Hello everyone, welcome to Res Snapper. My name's MJ and this is Snap or Pass, where we look at the brand new cards coming to the game. And this week's new Series 5 card is the Prowler. On reveal, add 2 Thief's Tools to your hand. Set their costs to 0 if a card moved last turn. Momentarily we'll have a look at the Thief's Tools. There's 3 potential skills that they could be, and you're going to get 2 of them at random. You can use the chapters below to skip to any section you want that includes looking at the Thief's Tools. I will put that chapter in this video. Otherwise, we're going to have a fantastic time, so you should stay to the end. I'm being deadly serious, alright? Let's talk about his card. So if you want to grab the Prowler, you can get him in Seasonal Series 5 Snap Packs, alongside the other cards from the last couple of seasons, right? So you could get the zombie stuff, any zombie cards that you don't own, which includes the best card in the game, Zombie Galacti, and no, I'm not joking. You could get the rest of Spider-Man stuff, which includes like Man Spider and Ezekiel Sims and whatnot. The other options too. Right, I think that's it for the intro. Actually, I do want to say, guys, you know that absolute legend who makes the infographics and stuff? They make really cool graphics on like Twitter and X, and they're also a writer on Snap.fan. You might have seen their articles. They just do fantastic, awesome visual design stuff, and they're just a smart person. Yeah, well, I'm shaking in my boots, guys, because they've got the YouTubes now. They've got the YouTube video channels. August Turn Zero. I don't know if they changed their name everywhere, actually, but he used to be like EK August on Twitter and whatnot. But yeah, go subscribe to August Turn Zero. It is you are insane if you don't. So he's got at the very least like a podcast at the moment, like a drive home from work podcast. Very easy listening, but he's a great guy, and you should absolutely go and subscribe. You just mental not to. Right, so let's look at the skills. These are... Why does my editor do this? My editor is an actual human dickhead. Okay, that's better. Right, so these are the potential Thief's Tools that you can get. Vibro Shock Gauntlets, 1 cost. On reveal, give your highest power card here +2 power. You get +1 energy next turn. So it's a little power boost and it's ramp. That is fantastic. That card is absolutely excellent because it's basically just a free 2 power. It's generated resources, so it's not taking up a deck slot, yada yada yada. Right, so the next one is Remote Mines, also 1 cost. On reveal, afflict the 2 highest power enemy cards here with -2 power. So this is an overall 4 power reduction to them, or 4 power affliction to those cards, which 1/4. That's good. And then the last one is the Flight Harness, 1 cost. On reveal, give your highest power card here +1 power and move it to the right. So this is like a bit of move synergy and just like repositioning and a little power boost. So this is probably the worst skill, I'd say, but it could also be the best skill if you're playing a move deck, so who knows. Right, now let's talk about the biography so I can actually like get comfortable and move this Marvel Encyclopedia. So the first appearance is Amazing Spider-Man Volume 1, Issue 78. That is the one pictured on screen, and this was from 1969. So this is a very old character. Literally predates me by nearly 20 years. While working as a window washer, mechanical genius Hobie Brown invented gadgets to make his job easier, including wrist-mounted, high-pressure sprayers. When his boss dismissed his ideas, Brown quit in frustration. He turned to crime, refashioning his contraptions into climbing gear and miniaturized weapons, and adopting the costumed identity of the Prowler. Seeking recognition rather than profit, Brown intended to return what he stole as the Prowler under his real identity. He came into contact with Spider-Man, they became enemies, and then they later became allies. So Prowler is ultimately like a decent person. But just a sort of, got a bit misled sort of thing. That's the overall vibes of him. And for an accuracy in terms of his ability, I've given him like a yellow tick. So kind of like fairly accurate. Obviously, the card creates gadgets. He's known for gadgets. I think the gadgets could potentially be a bit more accurate. But ultimately, not a big deal here. I think he's quite an accurate card. And just a cool character. And this collage variant by Creative House Pocket is nuts. Absolute bonkers. Really good. So, the mechanics of the Prowler and the archetypes I think he's going to fit into. I think he's going to be fantastic in on-reveal decks. These are the styles of decks that play a lot of on-reveal cards, and so they have ways to manipulate and duplicate on-reveals. So that could be like Grandmaster, we could be talking about Joaquin Torres, we could be talking about Wong, Misery, what's the last one I was going to say? Grandmaster, just I don't know. I think mass move decks will actually like him a lot. These decks where you're moving a lot of cards, because not only are you more likely to trigger the potential discount later on, but then you've got cards which synergize really well with the cards that you're moving. Either just having extra energy to play out more of your mid-rangey style cards, or being able to move them, getting an extra move from a Spider-Punk, for example, yada yada yada. So that's all good stuff. I think he is just at a base level like a good card. We'll come on to this point in a minute, or maybe we won't, because maybe I just won't read out the first point. But he is another card which, I won't. He is another card which creates cheaper cards with high utility. So along the lines of Kate Bishop and Merlin, we are literally talking about some of the best cards in the game. Like Merlin is probably one of the unsung heroes, or not even unsung. He's heavily sung. Merlin's great. Everyone knows he's great. Yeah, I think Prowler might be just like the new Merlin. I think he will be good in move decks. You know, those, one of the skills certainly obviously works with move, and he benefits from move himself. Affliction decks might like him, possibly. We're starting to scrape the barrel a little bit here. But skills deck in general, if the skills deck is becoming a thing, if like Agamotto, playing a couple of skills like Hunger and Web Sling, and some of the future skills which we're getting in future seasons. Maybe all of this is good with like Nicholas, Scratch and Bishop. Maybe that becomes a more solid, more realised archetype soon, who knows. And then I have snuck in the Silky Smooth archetype logo here as well, guys, because playing skills on top of those Silky Smooth cards like Angela and Elsa Hope, I mean, obviously, kind of less so Elsa in that example, actually, but those are the same sort of cards you want to play in that deck. Now, that deck, we actually don't typically call it Silky Smooth around these parts. Around these parts, we call it in the club, we call it in the club, Zingler, Clubby, Mingle, Mingle, Round, Pringle, and Pringle comes in a stack, and that's what you do with cards in that type of deck, isn't it? You play cards in the same location, you stack them. The cost reduction ability is the Prowlers, not the Thief's tools. What I mean by that is, the Prowler's on-reveal ability is add 2 Thief's tools to your hand, set their costs to 0 if a card moved last turn. That means if you're playing the Prowler on curve on turn 3, you need to have moved a card on turn 2. I'm pretty sure there's only, off the top of my head, I think there's only 2 ways to do that. 3. Aranya, Spider-Man, and Nightcrawler on turn 1. So Nightcrawler on turn 1, you move him on turn 2. And the thing is, probably none of those are even desirable. Maybe Aranya into like a dagger or something on turn 2. But basically, it's kind of hard to do that, and it's borderline not desirable. So if you're playing Prowler on curve, you're likely not getting the discount. If you hold him for later on, you can get the discount. You need to weigh up whether it's worth it. But the thing is, you don't even need the discount because the skills are still really good, even if you don't get the discount. Also, reminder, you get 2 of the skills at random, so you can't guarantee which ones you're going to get. And so, like I said, you probably don't want to put too much effort into getting the discounts, because it's harder to move a card on turn 2, and you're unlikely to have cards that synergize with the skills by turn 4 as well. So that's if you're trying to get something to move early on in the game. Just don't waste too much energy and effort to do that. So the pros of the card. The skills are mostly very good, even at 1 cost. Like, you're happy to play these skills. Dawaba. If you're able to get the discounted skills, then the value is absolutely crazy. Like, if you can actually, if you do wait until later in the game, you have moved a card, and then you play, you could play like down the Prowler and Miles Morales on the same turn. Nice little synergy there as well. Nice little reference to Across the Spider-Verse, which I've got a cup here. God, unbelievably refreshing. Let me know in the comments below what I'm drinking. You have to say something weird and like just mentally unbelievably refreshing and unbelievable. The best suggestion, I'll give some sort of code. Let's say that. Hope I remember to do that. Yeah, sort of. Yeah, well, I've said it now, so I have to. Which is fine. That's good. What else we got here? And there's a good element of unpredictability. By the way, a light is now a light. the sun, that one, sort of the light really, is currently shining on a window across the street, and that is reflecting immediately into my face. So not only is it blinding me, but it's also changing the light on. You can see what's happened, and that's a shame that we're all affected by this, especially me, because I'm being blinded by it, which is good actually. In fact, it's borderline close the curtain levels. Is that too dark? Apologies if it's just got too dark, but at least I can see. So the cons. The skills you receive are random. If you really want the ramp one, you might not get it. If you really want the move one, you might not get it. And some of the skills are quite specific. So move synergy and affliction synergy. Now, if they've got like a Luke Cage and they're able to disrupt the affliction side of things, that's going to feel a bit bad. And if you're not playing a move deck that give a card +1 power and move it one is a bit less interesting. Maybe that's a bit better if you are playing one of those silky smooth style deck there. So counter to the card, yeah, all of the skills are manipulating power in some way. So Shadow King seems like a somewhat of a counter, but of course the Prowler isn't necessarily getting buffed himself, and you're getting multiple skills, so you might be doing multiple changes to. Sorry, you might be doing changes to multiple locations. So it's pretty feasible that Shadow King can't take care of all of it, right? But the -4 power skill, that's going to feel pretty bad to be reset with Shadow King. Let's talk about the synergies though. So I've kind of split this down into like which cards synergize with which skills sort of thing. So the Vibro Shock Gauntlets, this is the one where you get extra energy. I think that's going to, extra energy. You're giving something extra power and you're getting extra energy. I think that's going to feel particularly good in a Horde style deck. Maybe even something like Zombie Scarlet Witch. Either you play it on top of Zombie Scarlet Witch and you're getting extra power on that location and also generating that extra bigger horde, or if you've already created your horde token, I actually think the Vibro Shock Gauntlets on horde, zombie horde, could be really good, because then that makes your zombie giant man even bigger, and in turn maybe if you're playing the absorbing man line with that gets better as well. Maybe the remote mines, this is the affliction one, maybe that's good with cards like US Agent and Diamondback. Diamondback gives cards afflicted at that location, enemy cards, an additional -2 affliction. So this -2 becomes -8 with Diamondback, which is tremendously good. Again, we're just not too convinced if we can ever reliably get that skill, and if you're playing it in an affliction deck, which Diamondback would be in, Prowler possibly doesn't even make the cut. So there's like a bit of a question mark over there. And then Flight Harness, something like Spider Punk is absolutely perfect for it. You giving him extra juice, and moving the card so he's going to get an extra steal out of it, so that's good. And also that leads more into the Silky Smooth style of playline as well. Or of course Human Torch is absolutely fantastic with it. Yeah, cool. So the decks I've got for you, just two this time. We got Breaking Bad. This is a modest deck, guys. I did my best to try and cook down to a budget level, and I just had to include the Hope Summers in here as a second Series 5 card alongside the Prowler. I hope you can forgive me. So this has got two Series 5 cards. So this is a Silky Smooth style deck, or Interclub so you play Angela, you've got your Elsa Bloodstone, you've got your Hope Summers, you bang down all your things on top of it. It could be like the Nightcrawler or the Kitty Pryde, which could be filling the location to get the extra juice and the extra energy. We can actually move stuff with this deck. We can actually, sorry. At the start of this video, I basically said you can only do like Nightcrawler, Spider-Man, or Aranya to move stuff on earlier turns. Of course, you can also do Iron Fist or Ghost Spider. Either of those also work. Anyway, we've got both of them in this deck. If you are lucky enough to get like a turn 1 Vulture into a turn 2 Ghost Spider, or a turn 1 Iron Fist into a turn 2 Vulture and Ghost Spider, you can then do a turn 3 Prowler. You get the move, the Flight Harness, you play that on your Vulture, blah blah blah. Things go to the races. But the other lines you've got in this deck, as a budget deck, we're going a bit more budget style. So you got the Craven stuff, because you've got a decent amount of move in this deck. You can, with the Hope Summers, you can get like an early Magneto, really disrupt them. That could be on top of your Craven as well. Or even an earlier turn Odin to get more skills from the Prowler. That could actually be really, really strong. And again, you're getting that potential ramp from the skills Oh, bloody hellfire. Dry throat. You're getting the potential energy gain from the skills themselves. So yeah, and then the next one is our Horde deck, because I do like the potential Horde synergy, but we have also just got skills on top of Zombie Scarlet, which are good, and we have the opportunity to play an additional skill in this deck via the Hunger. So in this deck, we're also amplifying the skills with Joaquin Torres. Joaquin Torres, either, if you don't draw the Prowler, then you've got your Silver Sable and the Hunger, which are both absolutely fantastic with Joaquin Torres. We have got a little bit of card generation with Hawkeye Kate Bishop, which means alongside the... and Bastion as well, which means alongside the Zombie Mr. Fantastic, we've got... and the Horde token, the Zombie token rather, we've got plenty of cards that get buffed by Zombie Mr. Fantastic. We've got some weird, funky inclusions like Esme Cuckoo in here as well. Like, because of the Bastion and the Esme Cuckoo, there's a couple of ways to generate some interesting copies of cards. Imagine getting like a Bastion with Hunger, and then Joaquin Torres, your Hunger on top of it. So you haven't sort of played anything there technically. You Bastion it, and then you can do like skills and do the thing, and all the things happen. And then we have, of course, got the classic Horde combo in this deck of Zombie Giant Man into Absorbing Man, which is easier than ever to play because we've got a few different ways to ramp in this deck. No, one way to ramp Prowler skills, but you don't even need ramp necessarily. It's all just good. This is definitely going to be a fun one to try. I'm going to be trying it. So, overall, I think that the Prowler is a really, really solid addition to the game. I've given him 4 stars overall. In fact, I've given him, I've given him 4 stars for everything. Motorbike going past, good. From a fun perspective, I do think it's going to be fun. I think generating skills or Thief's tools is fun. Does good utility. You're doing lots of random stuff, so that's cool. For the archetype, not necessarily sure exactly where he fits, but I think he's going to be a great addition to it. No, I do think he's particularly good in Silver Speed. I do think he might be great with Horde, as I've said. Yada yada. And then from a competitive standpoint, yeah, I'd be pretty surprised if this isn't like meta featured. So yes, he is a snap. I do think you should get him. I think he's one of the best cards of the season even. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're new, subscribe. Oh my god, I forgot to say in the last video, if you got this far, leave a watermelon. Leave a watermelon if you did get this far, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.